Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's Bear Facts Friday, Friday, August 14th, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to filter out some information. Mark's going to give you some perspective, put the world in perspective for you, and Lisa's going to give you our question of the week and some tidbits, some stuff that we're dealing with on a day in, day out basis with real clients. So, first off, I want to try to filter the news. There's a potential that mortgage rates are going to become more expensive in September. So if you have not refinanced or if you have not explored refinancing over the past couple months, really since COVID has hit, I think that you are doing yourself a disservice. At least look at it. If you want us to run numbers for you, if you want us to refer you to some mortgage guys, I mean, it is something we are happy to do, and it is something that with rates at the historic lows, that everybody should at least look at. Now, not saying everybody should do it, but you should explore and see, does it make sense, for you and for your family. Mark?
All right, thanks. And for this week's perspective, I think it's time to start talking about the election, unfortunately. And this slide is a bit busier than normally I would want to go with, but wanted to put some information out there as people start to begin thinking more about the election. Obviously, Joe Biden selected his running mate earlier this week, but also how the election may or may not impact investing in your portfolio. And so what we have here is the results from the last 10 elections. And in the gray bar, you see what the performance of the S&P 500 was during the election year. And in the green bar, you see what it was in the year subsequent to the election. And again, I know this is a little bit of a busy slide, but we're going to start planting the seeds here and talking more about this in the months and weeks to come. To better understand how elections can impact investing, because inherently what happens is that politics are a very emotional thing, and we become very rooted in our belief system, whether it's one side of the aisle or the other, it doesn't really matter. And what ends up happening a lot of times is that if it's our person or our party that is perceived to be the one that should win or that we would prefer to win, then what we think is that that obviously means it will be better for our investing experience. And conversely, if it's the party or the person we don't like or we don't want them to win, then it will somehow harm it. And so these facts and figures, this data right here is meant to start to formulate the story about how elections, whether it's one party or another, don't always mean one specific thing or another for your portfolio. Ultimately, what the main takeaway is that red or blue, that history has shown the stock market has continued to do well, and there's really no way to truly decipher that one party boosts the stock market while the other one does not. But while we're in that time period and while we're in those situations, it does become much harder to grapple with. So that's what I want to leave you with today, is this chart right here.
Thank you, Mark. It certainly gives us a lot of food for thought. And going forward, what I've decided to do is kind of shift my focus, and I'm going to be bringing to you a question that I felt like was a universal question for all of our clients and beyond that I've encountered or been working with somebody on this week, during the week. And this week, it is one of the things that we were working on was actually starting savings programs for someone's child. Now, when you think about saving for your children or your grandchildren, you need to make sure you understand what you're doing and why you're doing this, because there are different vehicles that are more appropriate for any end goal. So if you're want to start a savings plan for your college, there's a certain type of investment program that we would recommend for that. If you're just trying to help them put aside some money for a car or their first home, then we have options for that. Or if you're actually looking to help them start a retirement nest egg, there's an entirely different option for those sorts of things. So my message this week is if you're thinking about doing something like this for your children or grandchildren, then give us a call and let's dive a little deeper into exactly what it is you want to do and what's the best way to accomplish that.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Well, that's some great advice, and I like the new direction where you're going with this. I think clients will get a lot out of hearing what other folks' questions are, and that will be helpful as well. So that's what we got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you next week.